Okay, I'm going.
Oh, good morning. Phil, you caught me off guard here. I'm ready to do this little video this morning. And I always like to start out with working on the net. And this is going to be, and I only got 6 inches to go on this thing. It's going to be an 8-foot Dacron, Cortland Dacron mullet net. And what I want to talk to you about today is I've had some phone calls. People, I love it when they call me or email me and ask me questions about the video, and you know, they see the videos on YouTube and then they buy the video that we sell. And anyway, this is Mike Uzino of Menorca and Magic, handmade cast nets here in St. Augustine, Florida. A little dreary day today, I tell you. It's going to get real cold on us over the weekend. We're supposed to get, 28 to 32, somewhere in there for about 3 days running. Anyhow, I did have some a request about some information on how to make these nets, and I thought I'd covered everything, but apparently I didn't really get down to every little nitty gritty, which there's just so much you can put. But anyway, the question was on this. Ryan Weed called me. I think he's in Alabama. He called me about. He had a question about he made an 8-foot. Bought a video a couple of years ago, and he's made an 8-foot shrimp mullet net. Now he wants to make a shrimp net, but I said, well, you don't need to make it 8 foot. You really don't need to make over a 6-foot bait net. 5/8 mesh. That's going to catch everything you need to catch for bait. Anything that'll get through that mesh is too small to eat or too small to fish with anyway. So with that said, but his question was, do you alter the amount of widenings when you go from a mullet net to a shrimp net? And the answer is no. There's no change. You use the same widening ratio in a mullet net and a shrimp net. They're one and the same. So what you want to do is you're just going to have, obviously in a shrimp net you're going to have, and I got a good example here to show you what I'm talking about. I wrote a couple of things down here so I didn't forget them. Now, I just finished an 8-foot shrimp net that's on its way to over to the Panhandle in Florida. 8-foot 5/8 mesh shrimp net. The last row, this is with 14 widenings around, the last row had 644 meshes. 644 meshes. So with that tells you that you're gonna, I put 322 sinkers around the bottom of that net. Now the difference here is a shrimp net, you use a smaller sinker. And Phil, can you zoom in on these two sinkers, if you would? The one on my right, on my, what's your left, the small sinker is a shrimp net sinker. It's made from our molds. The one on the left is on my left, is a mullet net. It's larger, still has a 1/4-inch hole. I use a 1/4-inch solid braid nylon foot line on all my nets. So because your mold has a 1/4-inch hole in it, so the sinkers slide on in nice and stay nice and tight. That covers that. Now on the 5/8 mesh shrimp net, I already told you we had 644 meshes on the last row. Now, here we have an 8-foot 1-inch mesh. Actually, it's a 1-inch knot to knot. It's 15 16ths, I guess, in between. So it's a 1/16 of an inch less. Your mesh is a little bit smaller. I like that. I try to keep it that way. Now, on this 8-foot 1-inch mesh mullet net, there's going to be on my last row, which I got 2 more widening rows to go before drop off. But my last row is going to have 436. You see, that's quite a difference. That's just over 200 mashes less in an 8-foot mullet net than an 8-foot shrimp net. However, you've got the same amount of windings. There's no change. Your circumference doesn't change between a shrimp net and a mullet net or whatever it may be. A cast net's a cast net. I don't care what size mesh it is. The circumference is going to remain the same, and that's simple, easy to figure out. And that is on an 8-foot net, it's going to be 8 1/8 is 16. You go twice the times on your length. If it's 8 foot, if it's 7 1/2, that's the way you figure it. 8 foot, 8 1/8 is 16 times 3. What's that? 48 foot, right, Phil? Okay, that's going to be the distance around that net from where I start that row to where I end, and it spreads out full. It's going to be 48 feet. That's how much foot line it's going to take you for this net to open full around. And that's what you want. So there's no change in that. I don't care how many windings you put in this thing. I know a guy down in Southwest Florida that puts twice the windings that I put in a net, and it's still the same. Doesn't make any difference. What you have more webbing. You'll have more of a balloon effect like that umbrella, you know what I mean? It's got that balloon effect to it. If you're fishing in real shallow water, maybe that's good. But I don't know. I've just, the way I've been taught, and I've told you this before, the way I was taught is not necessarily the best way to do it, but just the way I was taught, it works good for me, so that's the way I do it. If I'm going to teach somebody, that's the way I'm going to teach them. And anyway, I asked Dennis down Southwest Florida, how come he put so many windings in his net? And he said, that's the way I was taught. So that makes sense. So I guess so. I think I've covered that pretty well. This is a 14 winding mullet net. The shrimp net was 14 windings. I've told you the difference between the two and the amount of webbing that's in it. The windings were the same. The foot lines are the same, no matter, we went over that. If you have any questions, I'd like to hear from you. I don't know if I was clear with this phone number, but our area code here is 904, and my number here is 217-7974. Now, on our email address, if you want to email me, it's on the website, but I just assume you pick it up here. It's a simple email address. It's USINAMIKE, one word, that's Usina Mike, at gmail.com. That's all there is to it. Love to hear from you with any comments or questions you may have in this stuff. And next time I had another request about the equipment, you know, the needles and mesh boards. So I'll go over that. I've gone over it before, but we'll do it again. I make my needles and mesh boards based on what I like, you know, and that's the way people do it. If you got long arms and you knit fast, and you don't like knots, I don't like a bunch of knots. And so the longer the needle, the more line it holds, so you're going to be able to go further. That translates to less knots. Like I said, I don't like a lot of knots. As you can see, this needle here, it is full. And that needle, I'm hoping that's going to put the last 6 rows. I'm almost halfway through with the first one. This needle should put the last 6 rows on this, and this is going to be an 8-foot net. So, you know, if you get that far, that's what you want. I don't like a lot of knots. You know, so that's just the way I do it. Okay, I think I've covered enough today. I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season, marvelous. I hope you had a wonderful, healthy, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. And for goodness sake, take care of yourself and others, and stay out of trouble. And stay away from these big crowds, or if you do, wear your necessary, get your vaccinations and whatever. There's a lot of controversy about that, but anyway, it works for me. I've had Phil and I both had both our shots and the booster shot, and so we've been healthy so far. So with that said, you guys take care of yourself, and till the next time, have a great day.